Things are quickly going from bad to very, very worse for Marvel today. Avengers Doomsday is supposed to be in production, but the Trump tariffs may cause it to have to pause. The script, unfinished, we're told. And now Jeremy Renner, the star, who survived a major accident with a snowplow, the star of Hawkeye himself, is throwing Disney under the bus. Today, we'll tell you why he must and what it means for a Marvel in collapse.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we, as ever, endeavor to explain entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It is what we do, and we do it with glee. Folks, as you're joining us, consider clicking the like button. And if you'd like to be with us for even more tonight, we're going to be discussing the Hollywood tariffs and what's going on with the stock market. That'll be 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. As of recording, that's a Monday. So join us May 5th, 10 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the Disney earnings preview. The Disney earnings call comes out Wednesday. This has been what we believe to be a nightmare quarter for the company. We will have the preview of that at noon Eastern on May the 6th. Coverage of the Disney earnings report is May 7th. Be on the Valiant Renegade channel, followed by the Pro channel as well. All right, let's take a look at this, because Marvel is in deep, deep trouble. And I mean it seriously, folks. Again, they are supposed to be in production right now for Avengers Doomsday. It is coming out in about 12 months. But the Trump tariffs may have them on pause. We'll get to it. First, I want to go to Jeremy Renner and explain what the heck is going on. He is completely throwing Disney under the bus. This is from Josh Barton from Barton Reviews. Came out on May 1st. Here's what we've got. This is, and by the way, At High Performance, I guess, is the original on TikTok. Here we go.
They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. And so 8 months of my time, essentially, and to do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over?
Now, that's harsh enough, folks. And listen, this is a big story. People have been covering this. I got it. But there's something bigger in here that's connected with the news from today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to play it. I'm going to point it out, what he says, when he says it, so that you know what's going on. The absolute maelstrom of chaos that's happening behind the scenes with Marvel.
Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season? And this is not Marvel, mind you. This is like this Disney, not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told them to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. And we didn't see eye to eye on that. And sadly, and I still love the character. I still love to do it.
I'd still love to do it. Now, the captions are a little bit off there. I'd still love to do it. What would he love to do? Do the season or play Hawkeye again? Hang tight. We get a closer answer.
But I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, right? It's just payment we made the first season. So it's a little disheartening that didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go, because my body's probably thanking me, time and time again, that I'm not doing it right now.
What are you not doing? Are you not playing Hawkeye? Because remember, this came out May 1st. Avengers Doomsday is in production. At least we thought it was. Now, that's a big deal, because right now, the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige apparently are shooting a movie that doesn't have a script. And listen, that's the kind of ludicrous thing that would be hard to say were it not being reported all across the internet. So I must say it. This is out of comicbookmovie.com. It says, here's the purported reason why Avengers Doomsday doesn't have a finalized script. It's by Mark Julian. It goes on to talk about how they don't have a script. They're making a movie without really a solid direction of where it's going. The good news, I suppose, then, in this very interesting situation where they have original Avengers coming out and throwing them under the bus and saying, essentially letting it out of the bag. I'm not in the movie. They're not willing to pay me enough. I'm not in the movie. I'm not in the show. At least for them, Marvel can take comfort. They may have to pause the entire thing. And that could be a good thing. I know it would delay the movie, but if they're trying to produce this without even a script, the Trump tariffs that we talked about this morning, if you watch that video, and I highly recommend you do, those Trump tariffs, the Hollywood tariffs, putting 100% tariff on productions overseas. We don't know the details yet, but it may be causing them to have to pause production on Avengers Doomsday. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm going to read the article out of thatparkplace.com. I am not suggesting, folks, that they have done so today. I'm not suggesting it has happened, that there's going to be an announcement. I'm suggesting that if there's a 100% tariff and if the details of that come out, then I don't know how you go forward if you're going to spend, let's say they're going to spend $100 or $200 million in the United Kingdom on production. Let's just say that's the number. It could be lower, it could be higher. Doesn't matter. If it's $100 million, double the cost then for the production. And that's not the total cost of the movie, right? Because that's not the salaries that you're going to pay to the actors and to the technical support. That's not the amount you're going to pay to the director. That's not the distribution rights. That's not the cost for prints and ads. None of that. It's literally just the building of the sets and doing the production and renting out the studio in the UK. And again, we don't know the details, but if that is the way the tariffs are applied, then what you would do is you'd say, well, it's $100 million spent on the production, therefore $200 million is what's going to have to be totally spent because $200 million is going to be paid in a tariff to the US government. And that's our best guess as to how that would work. Our best guess as to how that would work. Okay. So considering it's nebulous, right? And you don't know, what if they're spending $200 million? Well, then it's a $400 million. Well, that's expensive, eh? So we don't know, though. And so because we don't know and because they don't know, they're kind of paralyzed. Here's the article, and this will give you some idea. And remember, it has to come out in 12 months. What I'm trying to do here, to bring this together before we read the article, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to demonstrate to you the chaos that is surrounding Avengers Doomsday at a time they can't afford chaos because they've had Captain America Brave New World has flopped. Thunderbolts, which now they're changing the title to New Avengers, has flopped. It's going to flop. They've got Fantastic Four. And if you're betting on Pedro Pascal to save the day, to come in and save the day for Marvel, we have different opinions on who can do that. Okay, so you might have a 3-strike, 3-flop year going into Avengers Doomsday. They can't afford this. And right now, they've got Jeremy Renner out there throwing them under the bus and saying, you know, I don't seem to be playing Hawkeye right now, and they didn't offer me enough money to even do the show. You've got no script for the thing, and it might be on pause. And they got to get this out in 12 months. Okay, let's read the story. It says, Avengers Doomsday may pause production until President Trump's Hollywood tariff details are announced. The Walt Disney Company may be facing a sudden high-stakes dilemma, whether to pause production on Avengers Doomsday, the highly anticipated Marvel installment currently filming entirely in the United Kingdom. This comes on the heels of President Donald Trump's dramatic announcement of a 100% tariff on all foreign-made films, a sweeping protectionist move that could significantly reshape the global entertainment landscape and put massive projects like Avengers Doomsday directly in the crosshairs. Culture Crave says this. Donald Trump says he's ordering a 100% tariff on all films produced outside of America that are brought into the country. Hollywood projects currently shooting overseas include Avengers Doomsday, The Odyssey, Avatar 4, Supergirl. You get the idea. But right now, this is the big one because guess what? Avengers Doomsday is the biggest budget, we believe, of any movie that we've seen in modern history. Now, if you adjust for inflation, maybe we can go back in time to the 30s or 40s and find one of those big, giant films, right? Maybe we can find something of a biblical, a biblical scale that would counter this. But really and truly, this is going to be insane. And a lot of it is being spent on actors' compensation, right? Robert Downey Jr. is not cheap. Brie Larson, if you can believe it, probably not cheap. All right, let's go to Fox News real quick. Fox News has this from Emily Trainham. It says, Jeremy Renner slams Disney penny pinchers for making him insult offer to reprise Marvel role. Renner played Hawkeye in the Avengers movies as well as the Disney Plus series. So I want to get into this a little bit because I want to explain the Jeremy Renner side of it. Because you need to know that they don't know right now what they're doing. They can't make the movie, or at least they may have to pause the movie. The movie doesn't have a script. It's a 2-parter. And frankly, they may be scrambling in a way that we've never seen them because the movies that are leading up to this are failing. So you have this giant culminating, climax of these phase 4, phase 5, phase 6. Nobody's been watching phase 4, phase 5, phase 6. So what was the plan? The plan was, well, let's bring back everybody then. Everybody. We'll throw everything we have at this. How you fit it in 2 movies, I don't know. And in fact, it's such a risk, but they really should do a trilogy because it's the only way to tie up all these stories. But then again, gosh, if you have this many flops, do you really want 3 flops that could be on the table? I don't know. This is insane. But Jeremy Renner is a key to all of this. From Fox News, it says the actor who played superhero Hawkeye in several Marvel projects said in an interview on the High Performance podcast that the company approached him to do a second season of the Disney Plus series Hawkeye, but they offered him half the amount. Now, we already heard that, folks. But he continued, I'm like, why? Because you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? I'm going to explain this in just a minute. Jeremy clarified, and this is not Marvel, mind you. This is just Disney. Not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants that tell them to go fly a kite. Again, we already heard him say that. Why am I reading again? I'm going to explain in just a minute. Disney did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment, though the company did dispute Renner's claims to The Hollywood Reporter. Oh, so they're claiming otherwise. All right. Renner has not officially been confirmed to be part of the cast of Avengers Doomsday at this time. So, that's what I'm trying to get to, and I want to explain it to you. Why would Jeremy Renner come out at this time and say these things about a disagreement he clearly has with Disney and Marvel, even if he doesn't want to categorize it that way? Well, let's read between the lines. We know that this film does not yet have a finalized script. Jeremy Renner likely knows it does not have a finalized script. The movie is going into production, and likely it's not just going into production for itself, but also for the second movie as well. They're probably going to produce this at the same time, the two movies. And they'll come back and pick up the rest of the second one after the first one's done, but they'll shoot lots of simultaneous stuff. Okay. So if you're going to get in it, you need to get in it now. So Jeremy Renner is coming out, and he's saying, Disney doesn't want to pay me enough, and I'm the guy who got thrown under a snowplow actually being a hero. And Disney doesn't want to pay me enough. I think, folks, that what Jeremy Renner is doing right now is he's recognizing that Disney's in a bad spot, and they need the original Avengers. They need the original characters. And I think he's putting all the leverage on them and saying, you don't have a script. You might not be able to produce this thing right now. You might be on a delay. How about you pay me the amount that you should pay me, but Disney might not be able to? Why? Because do you all remember the number of chairs that Disney had in that promo? Chair after chair after chair. The Thunderbolts are in there, right? All the Thunderbolts. They're the new Avengers after all. Sure. You've got all the Fox characters. You've got, it was just vast. It was a vast number. And they haven't announced some of the unpopular picks that I think are on the way. And I think they didn't announce them because they're worried that would get a Snow White style backlash. There wasn't a chair with American Chavez. There wasn't a chair with Brie Larson. There wasn't a chair with Tatiana Maslany, right? There wasn't a chair with so many of the characters that you cringe and groan and go, oh no, not that again. So Jeremy Renner is coming out and saying, guys, you're paying for the wrong people. And you're not paying the people who bring in the audience like me. And Jeremy Renner, folks, I'm here to tell you, after what he's been through, after what he did, risking his life, and by the way, if you have not seen him on the Joe Rogan Experience talk about what happened to him and then the recovery from that, it is an inspirational story. I highly recommend that you go over there and watch it. Go watch the Joe Rogan Experience with Jeremy Renner. Do it. It's worth your time. But Jeremy Renner, after all that he did, if Jeremy Renner steps out in a heroic moment as Hawkeye in the movie, it's one of those things that would bring in audiences because he's a real life hero. You don't know, he pushed a family member out of the way so that they were not crushed by the snowplow. He gave his life. Now, he survived it, but by all accounts should not have, but he survived it. But for all intents and purposes, he gave his life for the love of another. And he gave his life in a horrific way. And he came out. And as a result, he's the kind of person that we want to see in a movie. He's the kind of person who deserves to be in a movie. Not Rachel Zegler. By the way, Zegler mocked him. Zegler doesn't deserve to be in this, right? Pedro, do you think Pedro Pascal is a real hero in real life? I don't want to be mean to Pedro, but come on, people. Jeremy Renner is a real hero. But they've blown the budget on this craziness, on throwing everything they have at saving the MCU. And Renner is finally one of these people who's pushing back now. And good for him. Good for him. Good for him. And he needs to keep doing it. And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. I would say, as we get ready to wrap this one up, shame on some of these other people who are in the movie already, who have already been cast, who didn't say, guys, I'll only do it if Jeremy Renner comes back because of what he's been through. We're bringing him back. I'm not signing. Get Jeremy Renner on the phone. He's going to be in this with us. Shame on the people who didn't do that. Because that's inappropriate. You should have. And we had heard that some of you were doing that. So it's not enough. You can redeem yourselves, though. Get on the phone with Feige and the little accountants and say, listen, Jeremy's on the team. He's a real hero. And he's going to be a hero on this movie, too. But that's the story right now, folks. Things are getting ugly for Avengers Doomsday, and this could be the end of Marvel. I mean, really. Because if we have 3 strikes this year, and then next year we get a flop from Avengers Doomsday, I'm not saying that's going to happen. But I am saying that this is going to have such a budget that it might not break even at $1 billion, but it's got to make $1 billion. For PR purposes, for cultural relevancy, it's got to make $1 billion. If it doesn't, there's not much left to do with Marvel except do a complete reboot. It's in Star Wars territory. The fact that Jeremy Renner is out there throwing them under the bus means that they are handling this poorly behind the scenes. And I think we're going to see more of this. I think we're going to see more people frustrated. Screen time is going to be an issue. With this many people, these many storylines, this much stuff to tie up, you might need 4 or 5 hours if you're not going to do a trilogy. And the trilogy is too scary for them from a money investment standpoint because there is no guarantee anymore. And these things are getting so expensive that they're breaking records. Folks, that is the story for the day. Jeremy Renner throwing them under the bus at a time when they must respond and try to make nice because people like Jeremy Renner hold all the cards at this point. They hold all the cards because Disney has messed up to such a degree, they need the original Avengers. Jeremy Renner is slamming Disney because they did not give him the respect that he deserves. Frankly, they didn't give the audience the respect it deserves, and that's how they are in the position they are today. Will they get back underway with Avengers Doomsday? Will the Trump tariffs put a pause on it? Will they have to move the entire thing back to the United States, which would be an enormous expense and delay? We don't know yet, but we'll be covering it. More news coming your way. Folks, remember, the Disney earnings call is Wednesday in the AM. I believe we're starting at 8 a.m. on the Valiant Renegade channel. Tuesday here on the Pro Channel at noon Eastern, we'll have a preview live show of everything we think is coming down for Disney. It has been a nightmare quarter. It's getting worse. No financial advice, but that's the assessment, and we're trying to beat Jim Cramer. It's a low bar, but somebody's got to do it. Folks, like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And until the next time, we have the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of spending time with you. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Okay, these colors just seem to conflict with your natural tone.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Obviously, we're getting Jose ready to throw his name in the hat to be the next CEO of Disney.
That's ridiculous. He's not qualified for that kind of role.
Well, of course he is. He's a wonderful candidate for a corporate puppet.
What on earth is happening?
He's literally a foreign agent by all accounts. You think honoring boundaries is a thing? No! This is Disney! He's got diversity points, green skin, and a wig. And most importantly, he likes to destroy things and blow them up, whether they're from the past or from now. He shows no discrimination.
Okay, you know what? I really can't argue with any of that. So,
right?
You two have fun. I'm gonna go read thatparkplace.com and watch WDW.
Okay, bye. Okay, Jose, say magical experiences.
I already hate this.